All right, welcome back to Northwest Logic Podcast. Today I'm joined by Gustavo Lopez of the UFC. How you doing, Gustavo?
Doing very well, man. Just kind of healing up right now. Got some injuries from my last fight, so kind of just taking it slow and healing.
How you doing since then? That was in September, right?
Yeah, September. It was November, but no, yeah, September. Been going on. Broke my hand, broke my foot, so still healing from there. Just
Wow,
taking
and
time. Bones are kind of, if a little bit harder than little bruises.
yeah, and that fight ended in a draw, right?
Yes, it did.
How I was gonna ask you later on, but we'll get right into it. How do you feel about a draw?
During the fight, I thought I won. I thought I won the second. I thought I won the for sure won the third.
I agree.
And with the point deducted. So, I'm like, I should have won. Got two, for sure got three, got the lost, got the points from him holding the cage. So I'm like, easily win 3-2. But going back and watching it, I wasn't as active as I thought on my second round. So yeah, I give it to it 2-2. You know, the guy actually Healy guy is actually training back. He's training in Vegas, been training at our gym and with our group. So been he's a nice dude. It's not
That's
his
good.
fault that the judges are dumb.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
and that yeah,
So
it
going
is what
back a
it
little
is.
bit. Yeah. So going back, you're born in Wapato, Washington, right?
Yeah, Wapato. It's a small little native town, south from Yakima.
Nice. So Eastern Washington area.
Hmm.
So I see you started wrestling in high school.
Yeah,
How did that come about? And what did you start your freshman year?
yeah. Started my freshman year in high school. I never really wrestling at all. No family members, nothing like that. Just I was kind of like a small, fat little kid in high school, and my brothers used to be a little bit bigger, better in shape. They used to lift weights, and so they were kind of big. And I'm like, damn, I want to lift weights and get bigger. I just never had the opportunity or the place. Wobbs was a really like kind of poor town, so it's kind of like hard to do it unless you're on a team or something that actually does it. So I just kind of I got tricked into it. Got someone told me we are gonna be lifting and stuff in wrestling practice, and I'm like, all right, cool. Never lifted. First year wrestling, didn't lift one weight. I think I went like 50 and 50 on in the my first year. Always lost my first match, and then I somehow made it back to third and fourth every year, every tournament. So I got a lot of experience and just kind of fell in love with it. Always trying to be better. I think my freshman year got the coaches took me to stay and kind of let me like watch and see how things are going, and it's like, damn, it's super cool. So the goal next then the following year was just to get there, try to make it to state. And I think I qualified fourth and sixth as a sophomore. So was able to get into the tournament, make it a state by myself, and then kept going from there. And just from there, just kind of just graduated. Took fourth and sixth at state in wrestling, but got offered to go to wrestle at Menlo College. Well, in Yakima, I met Yakima Community College. Wrestled there for 4 years, and then I moved to Menlo College where I got my bachelor's in finance. So got me busy.
Real busy. I see that. I also saw you got offered a full ride to Stanford University,
Yeah,
correct? Right?
yeah. I got offered a full ride. I'm not sure if it was a full ride, but I got offered a scholarship to go to Stanford when I was a junior because I was doing so well. But that's the year my dad died, so it was kind of like really hard for me to leave home at the time. So the community college where I lived was like, hey man, if you're not going over there, we'd love to have you here. And I'm like, I was lost at the time. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I'm like, yeah, a full ride to go to community college, get my AA, and then kind of figure things out. And then slowly, got I ended up right next to Stanford again with that my private school that I went to. It just was literally the next over to Stanford. It's like their business program, so it kind of
Oh, I
worked out.
see.
Saw the
So is there no
coaches.
wrestling there, or is it just
They have wrestling there. They have wrestling in Stanford and in Menlo. It just
Okay.
I just didn't want to go at the time. And 2 years later, I got offered another opportunity to go to California and wrestle over there. So it just kind of accident that I ended up right
Different
next to it.
timing.
Just wrong timing. Yeah.
That makes sense. What made you start training MMA when you were in college? Because
Think,
you started training at the Yakima MMA. Is that
mhm.
correct?
Yeah, no, I understand. I was training with this buddy of mine named Lupe. He was just an amateur fighter at the time, but he was good. He was, in all the win all the amateur titles in Washington. So he was doing very well before I turned pro. So he just he invited me one day to kind of just, you know, help him with his wrestling. And we trained at these just random spots, or ended up getting access to one of the high school gyms, and we were able to get in some mats. We kind of just went over wrestling stuff, and it was just that's what it was. We were trying to just get him wrestling because he was a good striker, but wasn't that great of a wrestler. So I was always, like, for my wrestling pedigree, I was always offered to come help other people, and then being there kind of just got me more involved with it. I think one of his fights that I helped him get ready for, I go to the fight to corner him. I'm like, cool, go watch some free fights, have a great time. At the fights, literally the day of the fight, not the weigh-ins, but the next day, like, we're going into for my buddy to fight. They're like, hey man, the co-main event dropped out. You want to get in there? I'm like, okay, kind of jokingly, like, sure, like, you really gonna let me fight, like, on, like, no weigh-in, just gonna go in there and go? They're like, yeah, it's the amateurs at the time,
Yeah.
back in 2012, 2013. So it was kind of like a free-for-all. They're like, yeah, go in there, fight. But it worked out for me. I ended up going in there, knocking my dude out, like, in 7 seconds through a left hook. And I
Oh
was
wow.
hooked. I was it. Knocked him out cold, and I was like, kind of want to do this, and slowly got into it more. Ended up joining Yakima MMA. That's where I ended up meeting Misha and Brian Caraway, and they kind of guided me where I'm at now. They ended up. I moved to Las Vegas to live with them for a while until I got on my feet and was able to get my own place. But it was cool. I hope pretty much, but a lot of my career was helping other people with the wrestling, and now I just got work on it myself.
That makes sense. Yeah. In exchange for helping them with wrestling, did they ever help you with your striking or?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that was a trade, and also my jujitsu. Brian Caraway is a phenomenal grappler, one of the best out there, man. He's showed me everything I know. He's phenomenal. People go out there and like, bro, how you so good? I'm like, I had a really good coach. This guy's he's a wizard, man. It was just amazing how he thought of different ways to go around things and just made things just more simple, easy to pick up and easy to do against other people. It's a different world.
And you're still training with them in Vegas?
And Brian retired. I think I haven't talked to him in a minute. We kind of had a little falling out, but he's still a good friend. It's just we just do different things right now.
Yeah.
And then Misha does her own thing as well.
Mhm.
Once in a while we'll see each other, say hi. She's always been like mom to me. She's kind of taking care of me and helping me out. So it's always, every time I get to see her and help her out as much as I can, I'm always here.
How was that when you first interacted with her? Was she a champion at that point back then, or?
No, but I was actually helping her well with her wrestling is too. Before she won her Strikeforce title, so I've been there.
Wow.
I've been there back in
Long
the day.
Time. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good friendship.
So you started with cage sport, or correct, right? Started
Yeah.
fighting with cage sport. How was fighting there for your first couple of professional fights?
It was good. It was it was in Seattle, Tacoma at the time. It was cool. It was, I think I fought there twice. First I debuted there, and then I took a short notice fight against some 45er when I wasn't even supposed to fight there. So one on one of the promotion, then end up fighting some little off promotions, and eventually got with Combate. And that's the one that I kind of took off and got more bigger fights with. Fought for the title, became the world champion, defended it, and then eventually got the offer to go to the UFC. So now things are going well.
So how did the opportunity arise for you to fight at the Combate?
They were in Vegas. I think they were in Vegas, and it was a short notice fight. They were just kind of looking for any fighters to go
Okay,
out there
yeah.
and perform in the city. So
How do
like,
you
yeah,
find these opportunities, or
you're
you know?
my gym literally. They ended up hitting the promotion will like message the gyms and be, hey guys,
Mm,
we have a fight card coming up. Do you guys have any fighters? Like you have any 35ers at the time? Our head coach Nixon and Coach Follis was like, yeah, here we go, we got one right here. And we were always ready, so it was kind of we just took it, ended up winning that fight, and then they liked me so much that I kept with them for a while. I think I was with Combate for like a good 2 to 3 years until I moved on.
did you have like a certain fight contract, or was it just one by
Yeah,
one?
no,
Or
it's a fight contract. The
yeah.
first couple fights is as one by one at a time, and then after they sign you for a little bit better money, saying
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna keep you for the next 4 fights. Right at the end, it's kind of when we had a situation that my contract expired with them, and then I got offered to the UFC. But they had a chance to kind of renew it if
So
they
you were a
wanted to.
free
But
agent.
yeah, I was a free agent, but
Okay.
they had like a matching clause because I was the
Yeah.
champion. Like, hey, we're willing to match how much the UFC is gonna pay. And at the time it was COVID, so they're like, you guys have no fights. It kind of just worked out that I got the blessings from the owner Campbell, and he kind of like, hey man, best of luck. Hope everything goes well. So it worked out. It worked out for the best. They're doing well. The promotion changed their name to Combat Global, and they're
Oh,
doing more bigger fights for a lot of people. A lot of friends ask me how like what I thought about them. For me, as a champion, they treated me great. I was getting paid well. I was getting taken care of. We were going on flights. We were taking, I was exploring a lot of cool things. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity that they gave me.
and you won the belt. What, your second attempt at it, and then did you have a
Yeah,
defense?
yeah, I know. Yeah, I fought. I'll die the second time. I lost to him the first time on a short. I fought that fight at a
I was
one
about
day
to ask. So was that
notice.
short notice as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. I took that fight on a 1 day notice. Had to cut 23
Wow.
pounds. Had to cut 23 pounds. Fly over there, cut 23 pounds, and then fight the next day.
Wow.
And it was a split decision loss. So I'm like, I
How do
thought I won
you
it.
how do you go about cutting that much weight so short?
You just sit in the bathtub for as long as possible until
Is it
you
just all
almost
water
pass
weight?
out. Until you almost pass out, and then you get out. You get a little cool, then you go back in. And
Oh,
it's like our bodies, like they say, like it's around 80% water, so we
mm-hmm.
could sweat a lot. It just you feel like shit, man. It's a horrible feeling. When you're feeling when you're a little hungover and stuff. It feels kind of like that. Just super dehydrated and just your face is all thinned
Like
up.
it's
It's
so
just
thin. Yeah.
yeah, it's horrible, man. I'm big. I'm really thick right now, so healthy and healthy and just healing up.
How much? So I know you're fighting bantamweight right now, correct?
Yeah.
How much weight do you usually cut before a fight, or fight week, or anything like that?
The fight week, I'm in the 50s. I'm in the low 50s,
Mm-hmm.
49s, 47. So not that much. The last couple weight cuts been great. I've been working with the UFC PI, and they've been taking care of all my nutrition and all my stuff like that. So it's been by far the best weight cuts I've ever had. And I wake up the next day, I'm only like a pound over, a pound and a half. So things are a lot easier now.
That's great. How was the transition into the UFC when you first came in? And you were offered that fight on short notice as well.
Yeah, I took the fight against Marab on like a 17-hour notice. They
Oh
literally
wow.
called me like, and I think I had to cut like 17 pounds for that one.
You had to gain weight.
No, I had to lose 17
Oh,
pounds.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
In 17 hours. Wow.
yeah, it was crazy, man. But we just kept going on. Things have been going good right now. Like I said, I'm just taking my time and kind of just healing up and waiting for the next fight to come up.
Hmm. Have you had any conversations about maybe when? I know you've been injured, so
Yeah, broken hand, broken foot right now. So kind of just waiting for the doctor's appointments to get to hit to kind of just get here, and we're gonna X-ray everything up, and then after they have an idea of when I'm able to fight, they allow me to fight. Then my manager go over there and talk to them and see what's going on and what's available and
Mhm.
get me back in there. Hopefully sooner than later.
Hopefully, yeah. How was that feeling when you first got that first UFC win?
It was great, man. I had a really great camp that day. It was crazy because just I had to fight one of my old friends actually, you know. But it's not personal. We go in there, we're fighting, we're getting paid, we're having a good time, But
Absolutely.
it's a lot. It's still a lot of fun.
So I know you fought Adrian Yanez, right?
Hmm.
Which was a difficult fight to say the least. I mean, he's been
Yeah, he's been doing great. It was way different than what I expected. We had thought that fight was gonna come more forward. He's gonna be more aggressive, and he kind of just sat back and kind of picked his punches.
Mhm.
And I just couldn't see the shot to get him down. So it's just good game plan on his part. He's a really good fighter. So
When a
hats
fighter
off to
comes
him.
in with and kind of like flips your game plan on you, what is going through your and your coach's minds at that, in between rounds?
Don't even know, man. He I kind of just had to go.
Just kind of
There
just
was
brand
too
new
much.
game plan.
Yeah, there's too much of there was too much of a hesitation. I wasn't sure like when to shoot. There wasn't no shots open. He did a really good job of kind of just negating everything, and it's just kind of like by the time I got too aggressive, I went too forward. I got caught. You know, Gann is a really good striker, so guy gets hard.
Hmm. What do you think is the most important thing you've learned since you started your journey in the UFC?
Just being patient with everything, man. Surround yourself with the right people and just don't let those negative people put you down. I surround myself with the really good people in my life that only make me better. There's some people out there that kind of just weren't that kind of way, and I just kind of got rid of them.
Mhm. If I understand that. Um, so I know you're obviously out with injuries like right now, like we said, but like, what do you think is the next goals for you in the future? And I mean, you're probably out maybe half a year with both, I would
No,
assume, or
I'm hoping to get fighting like the next 2-3 months.
awesome. Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping to fight soon, man. I'm hoping I'm coming. I feel like I'm coming to the end of these injuries, so we'll get X-rays in the next couple weeks, and then following month and a half, we'll be back in shape and ready to go. So we'll just
What
stay
are
ready as much as possible.
your next goals when you step in the octagon?
I'll just actually go in there and kind of wrestle more. I've been
Hmm.
trying to strike a lot more because I've been working on it, trying to feel a little bit more comfortable. But I feel that my grappling is where I kind of, I'm really good at. So I got to get things back to where I was when I was fighting with Combate, when I was fighting before, kind of just being aggressive and just being in people's faces. Got to get back to that.
How do you? What kind of approach do you take when you want to do like a wrestling first? Because I
You
know
just
I
got to
see a
drill
lot
it.
of guys do different.
You got to drill it. I got to drill more. I got to just gonna be in the gym more, working on my wrestling and just working on my takedowns.
Hmm.
The more you do it in practice, the easier it's gonna be during doing it in a fight.
Is there ever a lot of thought going through your mind? When you go to, you just go for it. If they're ever gonna, get a combo right back or anything catch you off guard? Are you ever thinking about in the moment, or are you
In
just
the
pretty much
moment,
just going
no,
for it?
man. In the moment, you're kind of just going by, your body repetition, your that muscle memory kind of thing. You just feel it. You see twitches, you see the way you move, you see the way you move, the feints, you set things up, and you just go. It's what you've been drilling for the past, 8-9 weeks to get ready for this fight. So it's the same game plan. We just go. We go back to what's the basics and just learn how to wrestle and stay on top and come going forward. It's just we got to just keep on drilling those things more and more.
Are your fight camps always about the same length, 8, 9 weeks?
They've been long lately. Lately, I've been you know being given really long fight camps. The past 2 fights, 3 fights.
Why
I
is
kind
that?
of I don't know. They just probably set me up in advance and just get me ready. I don't know why.
Mhm.
But kind of after this next fight, I would love to kind of just get in there right away and get back into it and just not give myself that much time to kind of get too big. It happens after the fight's over. You kind of want to enjoy yourself. Like my weight balloons back up,
Relax a
and
little
then
bit.
yep, balloons back up, and then we gotta get back down, and just an issue every time.
Mhm. If it was up to you, how many times would you like to fight a year?
I would love to fight every 2 to 3 months, man. To tell you the truth, you know,
Wow,
fight,
that's
take a couple weeks off,
yeah.
enjoy myself, and then get back to full camp, get back in camp, and then fight again. But it's sometimes injuries, sometimes something happens. So
Hmm.
I literally want to fight as much as possible.
Is it easier to stay in a rhythm when you're fighting more like that and having shorter sort of camps and then
I think
another fight
so.
again?
I believe it is. I believe it
Hmm.
is. You definitely don't want to get burnt out. That what does happen to some of the fighters. They're in the gym the whole time and they kind of just get burnt out. You kind of like, damn, I gotta go back to the gym, kind of
Hmm.
thing. But I think if you go out there and you're enjoying what you're doing, you're gonna be fine.
How much during camp do you full spar?
I only spar once a week.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think sparring is more about kind of just getting understanding that if you could fight and then work on the things that you need to. You know, I know how to fight. It's not like I'm learning still. I know what I'm doing. I just all the things like we drill everything with my coaches, and then once a week we go out there, we perform, see what's working, see what's not working, and then get back into it and work on it. So it takes time.
That makes sense. So I know you said you focus, or your grappling and wrestling is the best, but since you've joined the UFC, you've done more striking. What do you think is your best sort of combo, or like your best sort of throw, or your
My right
go-to?
hand, my right hand, my power hand's been dominant. One of my fights back in Combate, the last two fights in my Combate, I knocked both my dudes out. I think that's
Hmm.
one of the main reasons why I've been working more on my striking. I'm like, it's so much funner to just knock the dude out and be done with it. But you know, I think I definitely want to get back to my wrestling more to my roots.
So when you're wrestling on the ground and grappling back and forth, what's the best? So when you're on your back to be able to flip it,
Mm-hmm.
what's the best way to go about that? Because I know I see some guys, they stay underneath the guy while he's full mount, and then flip and then try to get
Mm-hmm.
out that way. Or
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some guys flip
It's
entirely.
different.
Or
I definitely don't even try to get to that position.
Mhm.
The moment I get down to the ground, I'm bouncing back up. I'm not trying to sweep anybody or let anyone get in that bad of get a position on me before I gotta reverse it. The moment I fall, I'm back up. I'm on my feet. I'm trying to get on top. Quick little reversal, man. You gotta be quicker than the other guy.
is a so I know Corey Sandhagen's a really good example of just the size difference between
Mm-hmm.
him and other people in his weight class. How is it fighting someone a lot? Have you fought someone a lot taller than you, or
I have. It's
how would it be
hard.
like grappling that way?
It's it's difficult, man. Like things are just different. You get used to that same frame of a partner, and then you fight someone that's longer, and you didn't expect them to be able to walk, to step that big or move that far to reach you from that far of a distance, and it changes. It changes a lot.
What's
So
your game plan at that? Because striking
you
is
gotta
obviously harder as well.
you train with people with that same range. You look for other fighters that have the kind of same build as your opponent, and you
Hmm.
work on that.
And you just pick your.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand that. Well, thank you for talking to me today, Gustavo. I'm super excited to see you get back in there. I had
Thank
a
you,
lot of
man.
fun watching you in September. I watched that fight. I thought you won as well. So I'll say that, put that out there.
Appreciate it.
Even with the broken hand and the broken foot, it's very impressive.
Thank you, man.